Watertown Park and Recreation Commission regular meeting. Roll call, please. Please call the names, we'll say aye.
Call the names. Bill Dunstan.
Here.
Okay, Ken LaRosa.
Here.
Chris Martin. Okay, I think he's gonna be coming in, I guess. He's gonna be a few minutes late. Jack Donahue.
Here.
Peg Germain.
I am here.
Okay, Pat Rinaldi called out. He's not able to attend tonight's meeting. And Michelle Wallace has resigned from the commission.
Okay. I don't see anybody up on the screen for public participation. There's nobody here with us, so we'll switch over to the approval of the minutes for April 1st, 2021 regular meeting.
Motion made to accept the minutes from April 1st.
I'll second that.
Okay. Is there any additions, deletions, or corrections that need to be made at this point? If there's not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? We move on. Correspondence. Okay. The first piece of correspondence that we had today was a letter from Lisa to Dr. Villanueva, the superintendent for Watertown Public Schools, and also CC to Leslie Claddy, chairman of the Board of Ed, requesting that we be allowed to install a records board at the Watertown High School pool. And Park and Recreation would do the installation, and we'd be responsible for maintaining the records. As they're broken through the years, we would update the board. So we're waiting to hear back from Board of Ed and Dr. Villanueva if we got an okay to go ahead with that. Well, that's basically, there's a non-motion item. It's just a thing. The second letter in correspondence was the one from Michelle Wallace resigning her position. Next one was for the golf subcommittee, which didn't meet tonight. We had a lack of quorum. The next one I have was a listing of the leagues that we have currently that play up at Crestbrook. Again, that's for the golf course subcommittee. The next piece that we had was our journal of all the season passes and the money collected towards the enterprise fund at Crestbrook Fund. So we had 3 pages of
You
season
might want to
tickets.
just let everybody know that, or give it a report. Kenny's going to give a report.
Yeah, Kenny will give a report later on.
Just so everybody
And
knows.
the last 2 pages were the budget paperwork from March 1st to April 30th. So that's it. Just basically for the full commission, we have the 2 letters, the resignation of Michelle Wallace and the letter from Lisa to the superintendent of schools and chairman of the Board of Ed, Leslie Karate, about the records board.
And if you could, this evening, this just came in late, it was approved with if you can add it to the agenda, it's for a request for the pavilion to have a food truck. So if you could add that to the agenda under new
Okay,
business.
okay. This was not copied to commissioners. Okay, we had talked about this at the last meeting. So under new business A, I want to add a request for approval for a food truck for I'm trying to look at the date here, for June 27th at Veterans Park for an outing out there. I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay, all those approve?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those- Anybody against? No? Nothing. Welcome, Chris. We see your name up there.
Okay.
Hey, Chris is here. So we'll add that under A. Food truck, June 27th. Okay. Reports. We'll go to, as soon as Lisa's done writing. Sometimes I go fast. As soon as you're ready, Lisa, the Park and Recreation Commission Chairman's report. Okay. COVID is slowly winding down. State opened up a little on the 1st, 19th. We're going to be opening up even more. Ball fields are getting heavy use. Every night I drive by, and I umpire quite a few games in Watertown. So it's good to see everybody out and about and having a good time out there, enjoying. A lot of people I see walking in the parks, see a lot of people at the tennis courts, using the tennis courts. So a lot of the basketball up at the Veterans Park, a lot of cars up there around and kids up there. So everybody and their brother and sister getting out there and enjoying all the park facilities. So that's a good thing to see. Lisa has been working with the town manager and a person to replace Catherine Dinsmore down at the thing. They've been through a couple rounds of interviews. And Lisa will update us when she gets to her portion of the reports. And that's about it. Anticipating it's going to be nice to have the Memorial Day parade this year. Looks like that's going to be a go. Last year was canceled. So I slowly see us coming out of this COVID thing. But again, as a Park and Rec Commission, we have to make sure that we stay diligent. Can't let our guard down. The big thing with masks inside. And next month, I would hope that we could possibly have a meeting here. Everybody on the commission, I understand, has been vaccinated. So we could have a meeting here and just have virtual for the public. So we'll make that decision in a couple of weeks. And that's all I have for the Park and Recreation Commission Chairman report. Director's report?
Yep. I just build it and do it, but I just want to take a moment and just, the passing of Commission on Aging member Peg Durkee. She had been with us that Friday before the interviews, the first batch of interviews for a new senior center coordinator. And that Tuesday she passed. It's a big loss for our entire community, and just, I don't want to hold up the meeting, but just, a moment to reflect. I mean, she is a dynamic person. So our town offices are opened, unofficially still, it's still a soft opening, but the town manager is going to have to announce it that we are fully opened. The doors are unlocked right now, so people can get in. Just so you know, we had our budget hearing last month. We had to go back and make additional cuts to the budgets. Now it's in the hands of the voters and scheduled for referendum on Tuesday, May 18th. A facility update, this would be for the new senior center / community center. There is no report at this time. The architect has the information that we have supplied to him back and forth. So it's in the hands of the architects. So they're taking all the information and deciphering it. Special events, as you're aware, Billy already touched base on it. The next thing coming up will be the Memorial Day Parade, which is Monday, May 31st at 10 o'clock. Begins at the Watertown Plaza and goes to the Oakville Green. Goes down 63 to 73 and finishes at the Oakville Green. All protocols for COVID are still in effect, but we are able to have it. There will be a flyover. They got the jets, and there's supposed to be a nice turnout from the National Guard showing up. The invites went out. They went out last week. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. The invites went out, so the Veterans Council, it's their parade, but we do a lot of the behind the scenes legwork. And so the people who are interested can sign up. If you know of anybody who would like to participate but hasn't got an invite, they can always call down here. We can send one out, or it's on the town's website. For Crestbrook, everyone up there at the course has been very busy. We had our mechanic, Stephen Palmer, resigned. He's already been replaced from the mechanic at the highway department. And that creates an opening up at the highway department, but he did transfer over So there was minimal gap because we only have one full-time person, a lot of seasonal help, but the new person has already started. So just as a reminder, our town-owned tennis courts are getting overhauled next month, right around a month from tomorrow they start. So that's gonna be fun. I did get in touch with the head of the CIAC and also Paul Patuccio, just to make sure that the color schemes aren't in any violation or anything, and I was assured they weren't. Right now, there's different shades of green up there, but these are gonna be high contrast, so it'd be a lot easier for people to know if they're out of bounds or whatever. I've met with Ray Marks, Joe Romano from the restaurant, the engineering department, and Ray Cochiola about the walkway from the tennis courts parking lot to the pool, the tennis court parking lot to the pool, and to the tennis courts and the playground. I really need to have this done by the middle of next month if possible, because first of all, it's a situation we want fixed. And second of all, the pool is gonna open up as soon as the kids are ready to get out of school, we open. So that pool is gonna start getting drained real soon, and we'll, pending no problems, we will be opening up right around the same time the kids get out of school. And we don't wanna lose the funding because everybody knows July 1, everything starts back at zero. And unfortunately, paving is one of the things that cut out of my budget. That's been in there for probably 6, 7 years now, and that was one of the things that got cut. And that took care of the paving in the parks and just making sure that things were safe, and that's been eliminated. Our Parks and Greenways division, finally, we get full, we have our full staff back after quarantines due to COVID. Everybody's back to work. Maintenance has been very, very busy getting the fields groomed. Billy touched base on it, that the fields and the parks are getting used. And it's great to get everybody back outside. It's been a long year and a half, and I think it's taken its toll on people in ways we never anticipated, and it's good to get people back outside. Just so you know, our flagpole at the Oakville Green is in tough shape right now. Somehow or another, we're gonna get it fixed for the Memorial Day Parade, but we've had the ladder truck down there, and the internal halliards for the flagpole have dropped off the ring. So we have people trying to work on it to make sure to get the cogs all working again. They're gonna probably have to take the lights off or something, and hopefully the lights are gonna get fixed while they're done too. For the recreation division, met with the superintendent and her staff last week with the town manager on a possible joint funding grant from the state of Connecticut. It's basically an educational grant, but if they tie in with us with our summer programs, there could be possible funding for some of the programs. The Board of Ed has taken the lead on the position, and Lisa Feckety and the Board of Ed has, I believe it's just about finished, and it is due on Monday. Our summer brochure is out, and our new website is up and running. If you have an opportunity to look at it. The town also has a new website that's gonna be scheduled to go online on July 1st. Our website will be a link to that, and the reason why it can't be on the same, it's not gonna be all part of the same, is because we have to have the capability of online registrations and online payments. The golf course will also be a link for the same reasons, through the easy links. We have to be able to, it's amazing the difference in our new website for the Park and Rec. You can go in there and you can pay for a program, register for a program, and get a confirmation right then and there. You can actually make donations. So if somebody wanted to donate, if the people that are listening to this, if somebody wanted to donate to the Watertown Dog Park, they could actually register, pay for it and make a donation right in the website. Also to the Watertown Food Bank and to all the other opportunities that we offer through the department. In our social services, it's been very, very busy. I'm really kind of hesitant because anticipating that the renters moratorium will be ending soon. And that's where basically, there's been no evictions for a while now, for quite a while. That's gonna be ending soon. Calls are already coming through and we know it's gonna definitely impact the department because some people haven't paid their rents probably since it started, yeah. So I know there's a lot of landlords that are waiting for money, but there's also the clients that we know are gonna be knocking on our door, and we can only go so far. I mean, there was the stimulus money and everything else that's been out there, so hopefully people have been cognizant in paying their bills and things. Senior services. Just so you know, there was originally 10 applicants. 8 were interviewed, there was, I guess a couple dropped out. We interviewed the final 3 candidates. I'm hoping, I have to take a half day tomorrow to go to a doctor, but I'm hoping to have a decision made tomorrow or Monday at the latest in the selection. And that person, hopefully, first choice will be able to start soon. And also just so you know, there's been many requests to reopen, so hopefully the first candidate will take the position, otherwise we go to candidate 2. And hoping that the person will be able to start pretty soon so we can get that place up and running sooner than later, because people are ready, very much ready. So that is the report. I know I'm gonna have some other stuff to tell you, but that's the report right now. Okay, because there's always something else, so.
Oh, always is. Okay, subcommittee reports. Ken, the golf course subcommittee, please.
Right. First is Crestwood Golf Subcommittee like to offer its condolences to Joe Romano and his family, and also Keith Souliard for the passing of Carrie Souliard, who is, if anybody knows the golf course, she took care of the snack shack up at the course most times. So our condolences to Joe and Keith on the passing of their daughter. Second, I'd like to make a motion to add under old business C, an update on the golf course grant that Jack, our commissioner, is working on.
I'll second
Okay.
that.
Thank you,
Motion and
thank
a
you.
second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. Under old business C,
No, excuse me.
update on the bunker grants from.
Excuse me, Ken,
Yeah,
I missed that. Did you want me to say something or no?
yeah, just if you have any new information on it when we
I
get to
do.
it.
I guess
Okay.
I do. Excuse me, Bill.
Great.
It's an update, Jack.
Yeah, so what happened is,
Hold on.
No, Jack,
We're gonna get to it.
Jack, we'll get to it.
No, what
Oh,
that
I'm
was,
sorry.
they just
I
voted
got
to add it, Jack, they just voted to add it to the agenda. So
Thank
it's
you.
been added under old business item C.
Yeah, so we'll get to it in a little bit.
Okay, so then moving on, just an update on some of the correspondence. Billy said we did have our current league status. We sit at 9 leagues that range almost every day except for Friday, Tuesdays and Fridays. We have 2 leagues on Mondays, 3 leagues on Wednesdays, 2 leagues on Thursdays, 1 on Saturday, and a junior league on Sunday. So just that's where we stand on those. Golf tournaments, we currently have 7 tournaments on the books. The next one coming up will be June 21st. It's a Monday, it's the Knights of Columbus, and they follow after that. I think that is a place where we can make some improvement from.
Right, and I'm gonna, can I,
You can-
right now, okay, so we had a request come in for the Watertown Lions Club to move their tournament to October 8th.
Okay,
Okay.
that's that, okay.
In the meantime, been trying to get an answer. I talked to Josh, since I talked to you earlier, no, just, you know, talked to our new police chief earlier about the Watertown Police Golf Tournament. And right now, they're talking about doing it on
Okay.
October 1st, which is,
Friday before.
that's as of this afternoon when he texted me.
Well, I would agree with moving the Lions Club because there's also a tournament August 14th.
Yeah.
That would give us back-to-back tournaments.
Yeah, well, this is October though.
Yeah, no, moving it to October, yeah.
Yeah,
October, that's fine.
well, October is iffy weather. I mean, you can have snow and everything else, but
Okay,
you know, you don't want to draft from the same people though, because the Lions Club
true.
in the police department are gonna probably draft a lot of the same people, so you wanna, but again, it's been traditional at that time of year, so.
All right, and then moving on, we have sales, this is our sales report basically from March 1st to April 30th. The golf course is currently taking in $61,586.28 in combined greens fees, cards and everything out of that,
Okay, and nothing's
in stone.
in stone until the finance
Yes.
department gives you the numbers.
So, but that's just a preliminary. And then also to date, we have sold 129 season tickets. So that seems to be in the ballpark of last year. I don't know the exact number from last year, but,
I think you're a little up.
a little up, yeah, a few up. Let's just give me 1 minute. We did cancel the little form. No, that's it. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you, Kenny.
You're welcome.
Okay, move on to the Community Senior Service Center Needs Assessment Committee. Again, Lisa and I talked with the people from Hume and Jaconski, Brian, and he was planning on, hopefully by now, his daughter had her first baby, which is his first grandchild. And he's down in South Carolina right now with his wife. He does have access, but basically, we gave him some updated information on some of the areas that were kind of gray. Lisa firmed up, got some answers for questions that he had. So we're still waiting to get a final report of what the projected costs of what we're proposing. And then we'll see from there what needs to be cut out. I had asked Lisa to get a copy of the police station needs assessment, because I feel that there's some areas that we could possibly do dual, or being done separately. There's certain things like the area for the dumpsters for garbage, instead of having two separate areas, if there's one common area, so we could reduce our side of the cost and their side of the cost. Parking numbers, the parking numbers, Lisa and I talked, seemed a little bit overinflated on the one that we looked at for what's going to be happening up there. And again, I wanted to see the police to see if they had parking, or was it just put on one side or the other. So there's a lot of things that we want to try to compare between the two and see if, eventually to the taxpayers of the town of Watertown, because they're paying for both, if we can try to get some common things and help reduce the overall cost of what we're looking at. Okay. Move on to old business. Again, defer to Lisa. She can fill you in where we are with the senior center coordinator position. She's been, as she said, she mentioned poor Peg was in the meetings that they had the Friday before she passed.
Peg Durkee was on the interview panel from the Commission on Aging at first, so it was very exciting. So again, just to reiterate what I already said, there was 10, it got narrowed down to 8 because a couple dropped. The 8 were interviewed, narrowed it down to 3, had a different panel for the second interview, different questions, and asked them, okay, now's your opportunity to show off or to show what you've done. And it's down to final 3, and there is in the pecking order, there is a first, second, and third choice. So I don't want to get into names or anything, obviously, because a offer has not been given out yet. So I don't want to, get into who's, the candidates or anything. It's not appropriate at this point. So that's it.
And the pecking order, of course, if the person first they don't want it, refuse it. That's why we always set a pecking order this way here, because it's not a guarantee that the first person, something else may have come up in the meantime and they decide that it's not the position, and after interviews, that it's not what they wanted, so we go to the pecking order. B, the mechanic at Crestbrook Park, the position again, Lisa.
Okay, again, to touch base on that, I did report on this, our mechanic, Steve Palmer, who's been with us since, I think it was 2015 or 2016. He gave notice, he has since left. He's actually gonna be going back to his previous job, and, we have to post it, it's a union position, posted it, and mechanic from the, highway department transfer over. So the position's already filled. So now the opening is actually at the highway department, so.
Just a little update for, Jack, Peg, I know you were involved at the time. Steve's son was tragically killed in an ATV accident, probably 18 months ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About that. So, they had, the family, his family does have land out in New York. And he did express to people up at the golf course that going back to his old job for just a short period of time, and eventually he wants to just get out of the area. I mean, can understand, who his son was 14 years old in the ATV accident. So I can certainly understand, the families wanting to leave the area after such a tragic accident. So Steve was, valuable person up there, did a lot of work. Public Works constantly were tapping his knowledge on mechanical things to fix things up there. So we'll sorely miss Steve. He's a good person. Okay, move on to old business C. Okay, we're gonna, for the bunker grants update, Jack, ball's in your court, sir.
Okay, thanks. So last meeting, we thought we were close to the bonding revenue finance committee making a decision regarding numerous bills that are before them. But the governor reached out, and of the 2.7 billion that are coming into Connecticut from the federal government, the first wave of spending went to nonprofits. They seem to have been hurt the hardest with COVID, money's coming in, people being out of work, et cetera. So they saw the first wave of monies coming to them. So as we were also told that the committee would look at our request sometime in April. So we waited and went back and forth and didn't hear anything. So they were still in committee. So I assumed we didn't get it. But I reached out to State Representative Paletta and the other day, and he brought me up to speed, saying that the bonding meeting in Hartford has not been held yet regarding our request. It will probably be held in mid-May. So, so we're still there. He also said to me that we also have wells of funding to go to, two routes. He's already alerted Town Manager Mark Ramo that if permissible, he, State Representative Paletta, would like to use the COVID relief money to help Crestbrook Park. So there's another avenue there that we're now working on with State Representative Paletta. He also said the other option, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with it, I wasn't there, the STEEP grant. It's a small town economic assistance program. And yep, so that we would request money from them, but that would be in the fall. So we're still open for three different avenues. So we're just going to have to wait a little bit longer and see where this all shakes out.
Oh, good. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Jack.
Are there any questions for Jack? No? Okay, let's move on to new business. A, request for a food truck for rental at Veterans Memorial Park on June 27th, 2021. Okay, he said, we would like to request permission to allow a food truck, Frankie's Hot Dog, on the premise for catering. Frankie's doesn't have a food truck. They would be setting up a tent and catering out of that tent. And he said, any questions, please call us James Santapietro or Maria. In town, the planning and zoning has it set up where they don't want any food trucks. I think it's something that's gonna have to be, the police department gets involved because there's permits required. And I think between everybody in town that we need to, at some point in time, come up with a standardized thing that Park and Rec has, planning and zoning approves, and the police department, so that we're all on the same page. So right now, I think it's going to be handled on an as-case basis. So this is an as-case basis. And the only thing I would like to add, if we approve this, is it's one vendor, not multiple vendors where they're having 2, 3, an ice cream truck on top of this. Or, you know, this way, if we're approving it for Frankie's, provided I'm sure they have the proper permits, but.
On the permit, it says one vendor.
Yeah.
That's it.
It should be, but
Just so you know, that more and more of the restaurants in town have been bringing in food trucks, and the brewery down in Oakville. The P&Z is working on changing the language. Actually, we just had a department head meeting this morning with the town manager. It's very, it's the thing. I mean, it's the trend, and
Food trucks are huge.
it's a huge trend, and we want to be part of it.
Yeah.
And it brings people in. I mean, we've used food trucks at some of our events, like whether it's the Fall Fest or on the block parties and stuff. So what they're trying to do is, between the police, I mean, what you guys gave me, I had to make a lot of calls to find out, okay, Torrington Area Health District has their own request. They have to have all their paperwork in prior, like at least a week prior, otherwise they're gonna be assessed a late fee. So all this stuff has to be told to the people that are asking to use these food trucks. I mean, it's not that they can just drive in and use the park as their new site. There's parameters. So one of the other things is, I guess, because there's such a demand right now with the state's looking at it, okay, it's almost like a point of origin. So wherever the food truck is coming from, like in this case, Frankie's, if they're coming out of Waterbury, City of Waterbury responsible for a bunch of different things. And then it would make it just easier, because right now it's every town is doing it differently. Every single town has their own policies. Like I said, our health district, I think, I'm not gonna mention the name of the place, but they have been to one of our events with the Fall Fest. And there was a YouTube going around about a chicken food truck that had fried chicken that was discharging some type of liquid. I don't want to speculate what it was, but some kind of liquid from the truck into a storm drain, which we all know is not the right thing to do. So in our approval, once you say yes, I have a whole list of stuff now that they have to provide. They have to provide us with the insurance and everything else like a week ahead. So it's not like they can just go up there and use the park. There are parameters. They have to leave it clean. They got to use the dumpster. No discharge. You know, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff just from calling these different groups. But again, as of right now, the town, it's very vague, and the way we get around it is because, you know, they're in the process of updating their requirements, I'll put it that way. So
Lisa, you have all these, the stipulations, say if it's approved, then there's a list of stipulations. Who then is responsible for following up to see that that all happens?
well, unfortunately, it's a lot more involved than you think. I mean, what happens is the health district is gonna be getting a copy of this. We haven't had any yet come, I mean, you've approved some, but they haven't happened yet. But part of the agreement is that they have to follow these, they have to contact the Torrington Area Health. They're gonna show up to, I mean, that's the whole
Health
thing.
department will show up at the event.
They will show up and they will tell them to leave. Unfortunately, I tried to get money in my current budget to have a police, not a police, but a park ranger available on weekends for stuff like this, because it's a lot. I mean, this is now, you know, I mean, once we open the door, now you're gonna have people that are just up there that are gonna bypass the system, they're not gonna put in, and they're just gonna have people showing up. You know it's gonna happen as well as I do.
Yep.
So I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm just saying that right now there's zero, you know, it's just, I'm going by what the health district said and everything else, and as far as the insurance, I mean, the vehicle has to be roadworthy. I mean, there's all kind, they gotta be registered with state, you know, I mean, there's all just, you know, things that it's easy to say, let's do it, but there's parameters. It's kind of put a little, it's put another layer on the department that we have to follow up on. And to be honest with you, there's nobody up there on weekends to monitor, so we don't have that staff, custodial staff, you know, and it's, you know, again, anything goes kind of thing, and it's made it difficult, so. But we're doing the best we can, so. Anyway, so, go ahead, Peg, I'm sorry.
I'm just wondering, does this, and I know we've improved others that haven't occurred yet, but, you know, listening to you discuss it this way, I'm thinking, well, does this open a potential Pandora's box, you know, with people seeing, oh, well, there is a food truck, and not understanding that there was a process to
Right.
apply for a permit to use that.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, we'll find out this year. I mean,
Yeah.
again, and it's just, you know, they have to have certificate of insurance back to us a week before. I mean, all the stuff that you guys want us to add on there. So that means that if it's not here in time, we gotta call them up and say, okay, we need the vendor certificate of insurance. It's like a special event. It's like we're doing a block party and we need all this stuff ahead of time. Again, the bottom line is it's the health department. You know, if they're not registered, they're gonna be assessed a late fee. You know, I don't know if people understand that when they're bringing these things in, pizza trucks and stuff, that, you know, they got, regardless of what they wanna do, they still have to be obligated to what the rules are. You don't wanna have, what was it, the Norwalk Oyster Fest or something going on, that, you know, it's in our park, so you gotta make sure that they're following all the requirements by the health district. More than anything else, it's the health department. So, you know, I'm referencing a festival they had years ago that they had some problems. So we just want to make sure we're following everything, and it is, again, there's.
The health department, when they get there, will look for a lot of this. They'll ask them for their insurance. They'll check out all their equipment, make sure it's all roadworthy, sanitizer. They'll look for sanitizer. They'll look for wash stations. They'll take care of probably 50 or 60% of what we want. And those will be the main issues that would get somebody shut down.
As long as we know about it.
As long as we know.
Okay, if somebody just doesn't tell us and goes up there and sets up shop, there's nobody watching the roost, okay? Again, I tried to get it in the budget to have somebody up there that could just drive around to the different parks and just be like my park ranger, just to kind of monitor what's going on. There's nobody up there now to do this, okay? And that's my concern, is now that means more signage saying, you know, by permit only and everything else, and, you know, making sure the police understand. So there's a lot of different people that have to be involved that I don't think that we realize. I mean, I'm not against it. I'm just saying, you know, give me the money to make sure we're doing this right, so we can have somebody up there to
Let's
make
not have
sure.
an issue before
Yeah,
we do it right.
yeah, just do it right. You know, and that's what I'm saying. You know, right now it is more work for the office. I'm not against this. I think it's, you know, it's a trend. I think it's the way to go. I just don't want to go up there and get a call from the police department saying there's a truck rally up there one day. And, you know, we have no idea what's going on. You know, that's my concern. So,
Couldn't we charge them for the police department, one police officer in the,
No, you're mixing things now. That's not the case. This is a person who's renting the pavilion who is asking your permission to have a food truck.
right, but couldn't
That's
we,
what this
I'm
is
just,
about.
couldn't we just put that in the options that they have to have a police officer in the agreement?
No.
that-
Because they
No?
can't feed the general public, they can only feed the members of their party.
Right.
So if you went up to the park and there was a food truck there, you could not partake in that food truck unless you were part of that actual party.
Who would enforce that, though?
Yeah, that's the question.
Again.
That's what I can't afford to have a cop up there, Jack. And to be honest with you, we only
No,
rent the.
I'm not
it's-
asking,
It's
I'm
not
not
gonna
asking that we
happen.
pay for it. I'm just saying if they want to use if they want to use our pavilion and they want to use our location, they
No.
have to have a police officer on duty at their expense.
I think
It's
that's,
simple.
I think.
So we don't give it to them.
I don't think that's even reasonable. I don't think, I think, I mean, it's a different story if it was, like what we have down here where we have to hire the police and stuff. You're talking about birthday parties. You're talking about, little kid's birthday party with the food truck coming in making pizza or something. It's not a police event. It's not necessary.
festival,
I mean,
it's not.
to hire a cop, you're talking about 4 hours minimum and, for what? This is something more of a logistical thing with the department. I'm saying that what I need and what I asked for is to have somebody who's a park and rec employee that would be able to not just go to that pavilion, but would be able to go from Veterans Park over to Echo Lake, to Sylvan Lake, out to the Wintermont boat launch, up to Crestbrook, and just drive around and just make sure things are being done the way they should be. That, I think having a police officer stationed at a 3-year-old's birthday party is not the answer. That's not what I was requesting. So.
Everything here is predicated on, whether it was planning and zoning or the police department, that all these permits are in place at least 1 week before the event. This way, if they're not, we can sit there and just, we have two numbers here to call and say that we did not receive the permits that were required to have your food truck on site. And you're still giving them a week, saying such, then we have to, your approval is now denied because you don't have the proper permits. We're not going to allow that food truck there. You'd be surprised how within a week they'll be up there and they'll be banging on the door down here. They'll be in gold leaf lettering to hand in their permits. So that's like to Peg's original question, who's monitoring it? Basically, we are for us. If it's planning and zoning, it's doing something else through town, planning and zoning is going to watch. But when I started out with originally that all three groups have to get together, come up with a common one. And especially for the police department, because most likely they're going to be the one that's going to be enforcing it. They're going to have to go up and say, hey, you don't have the proper permits. But we've tailor-made it that it's a week before that we have to have the proper permits on file with us, so they're good to go. And that takes it pretty much away from the police department. It's, not up to them, because to have the police department do anything, Jack, they have to have some kind of paperwork or notification that, and right now the system isn't set up to do that. And on a weekend when most of this park and rec is called, they can't call down here and ask, by the way, can you look up to see if they got a proper permit? It can't happen. So the system in itself right now needs to be modified to handle it. But to do that, it has to have what we're going to do with park and rec, planning and zoning, and the police department. The three major players all have to come together and come to a common ground that works for everybody, so that everybody's on the same page. So it's a work in progress.
But it's not coming from here first. We're going to probably be the last one in this equation, between the health district, the police, and P&Z first before it even gets us. But like I said, this is not unique to Watertown. This is something that's going on. I'm going to back this up a little bit. This is something that's going on statewide. And to be honest with you, like I said, I'm not against this. I mean, it's like eating outside, al fresco. I mean, you know, once you've been outside and you've had your dinner outside, you don't want to go back inside the building unless it's like 100 degrees out. I mean, so I understand. I mean, it's just that there's logistical things that we just need to make sure on our end we're taking care of. We need to make sure we're protecting the assets that we have at that park and any of our parks. Because right now, everything has been strictly veterans. You haven't even heard of any of the other places yet. And the police, hiring a cop is not the answer. That's not the answer. We need to make sure that we have supervision from this department that's able to go out and take care of situations, so.
Thank you. Okay, any further discussion on the application for permit?
You don't have a motion on the floor.
No, you're just talking about, you didn't,
Motion on it.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the Rental to Veteran Memorial Park Pavilion, June 27th to 21 at Frankie's Food Truck, AKA Tent and Catering Service for the event on June 27th, 2021. I have a second on that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion? All those approved?
Aye.
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 Nobody against and no abstentions. Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to
is there
adjourn.
anything else?
Hey, could I ask just a question out of curiosity?
Yep.
I heard you mention the basketball courts up at Veterans, which is great. They're up and running and in full use. What about the new courts that are going in at Swift? What's the status on those?
They need backboards.
Yes,
All the
they
fencing
do.
is in, lighting's done, everything is there. They just, that's Board of Ed now. That money was transferred through Roy Kavanaugh, and Roy was spearheading it. Now Roy's retired, but that's all, those courts are ready to go. They just need to have the backboards and rims put up.
And then once they are up and running,
No. Okay, what happened was they removed the basketball courts where the lower parking lot is now at Hemingway. And they actually, how they got the approval is they used the area as a staging site when they took the dam out. So there was funding. So at that point, to relocate them, the actual first choice was along the Naugatuck River Greenway down near where,
The brake pedestrian bridge.
down there, like going where Unico Fields are and having it down there. Because that was, to be honest with you, that was our number one choice. Number two choice was at Watertown High School. Because we figured up there, they were gonna put them in, the suggestion was putting them in front of the school where the bus loop was. The Board of Ed said that they were anticipating at some point to put tennis courts up there. They chose not to put them there. So it was decided at that point to put them at Swift, where the original there used to be basketball courts right where they put them in,
Yeah.
okay, way back when I
And
started.
you know what my sister asked me? Can they flood them like they used to when we were growing up?
Well, that's.
Ice skate. We said ice skate.
So right now, it's unfortunately, the Director of Public Works left. He's now the city engineer for the city of Waterbury.
Yeah.
And I know that they're working on stuff over there, but I mean, as far as finalizing the project and just finishing it, I mean, we can ask, but it's not in our jurisdiction anymore. Once it went to the Board of Ed, it's theirs. But doesn't mean I can't ask the status and find out for the next meeting, or if you want to have that information before then, I can most certainly get that information.
And unfortunately, the other key player in that, Ray Senecola, Ray passed away of COVID.
Right.
So between
Right.
Ray and Roy, the two major players, but
That's actually
they
the
need,
third choice.
they need the backboards down there and they're ready to go.
yeah, I drove by the other day because I don't usually go to the back of the school, but I went to a
They're
softball game.
beautiful.
I thought, well, gosh, this is really a nice facility, but Still
Let's finish
missing backboards.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah, that's all.
You know what, I am working, I said it earlier, I'm working a half day tomorrow, but I can most certainly ask the engineering department. Again, they've all taken little sections of Roy's job and at least try to find out what the status is. If I can get an answer, otherwise I'll be beginning of next week, I'll try to get an answer. But again, it wasn't first or second choice. The first choice was to relocate them along the Greenway, just like what they are now, but it just, the area we wanted to use was Watertown Fire District, and they were not,
They're not receptive.
yeah, they weren't
They were
receptive.
not very receptive.
Yeah, they weren't receptive to having the basketball courts there, so our next choice was, let's put them someplace where the kids are gonna be able to use them, and
Right.
so I think they're gonna get very much used once they're up, so.
Yeah.
But I will definitely find out and get back to everybody, okay?
Thanks, sure.
And no, they're lighted too, that's a good thing. Veterans Park wasn't, they're light, it was set up so they have lights.
Down here, down here.
This is the tennis courts that got.
These are from down here, the lights, there was no lights down.
No, I said that we don't have lights at Vets, but these down here have light,
Right.
yeah, so the kids can play. Okay, we have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, everybody said yes, all right.
Who made the motion,
Thank you,
Chris?
everybody.
I second
Yep.
it.
Bye, everybody, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye now.